Roma 3, Man United 2, aggregate 8-5, I want to say. I'm a bit lost with the score. What I do know, as a matter of fact, is that we're through to our first final under Solskjaer, man. And that's good. That is definitely a good thing. It's been a long time coming. We couldn't make it 5 semi-finals without getting to a final. That would have been a catastrophe. And now it's about going one step further and winning the damn thing. We can't be, replacing that semi-final title of not winning them and just replace it with getting to finals now and losing. So we've got to go and win. We're going to be facing Villarreal, which I am more pleased about for some reason. I just thought Arsenal, this is something about Arsenal. They're just a bit unpredictable. But with us, we made weird work of it. I don't want to say hard. Well, it was hard work of it, but it was weird work of it as well, because Ollie went super strong for this game. And I do think the fact that the Liverpool game got cancelled probably helped him choose an even stronger team than he probably would have done. You can kind of see why he did. And we started with a strong team, but didn't start very well. David De Gea, I've got to start with him. Listen, the Dean Henderson train is in full effect. You know what I mean? It's Snowpiercer in its way through. Strong. But David De Gea, tonight, should I say, put up some big saves. Some he knew not too much about. Others kind of vintage David De Gea. And it just gives you that little reminder of how good he still is. Do you know what I mean? I'm not saying like Henderson shit, sell Henderson instead of De Gea. I'm not even really saying that. But what I am saying is that actually it shows you that De Gea can still play a big part for us, but we're probably going to miss out on that. And you know what? The saves he made, and at the time he made them, were critical, because if we would have went sort of 2-0 down early doors, we could have been in trouble. And then there was a couple of saves as well in the second half he made, which again, he might not have known about some of them. But if we would have conceded in them moments, we would have been in trouble. And it was kind of squeaky bum time. But we actually did get off to a good start. Cavani is just going from strength to strength, man, this guy. Honestly, like what he brings us is so, so important. It doesn't do it justice, because he links the play so well. His touch is impeccable. The way he brings other players into play is brilliant. His finishing, sometimes he can miss a couple of chances, but by and large, it's usually pretty good. He missed 2 decent chances today before he got his goal. Because, that one way when he tried to lob the keeper, should just put his foot through that, and he knew that. Then the second time, I think, because he didn't put his foot through it the first time, he absolutely banged it. I think it hit the keeper's face in the end. But he took his goal well. Through ball from Fred as well, by the way. Through ball as well from Fred. Sorry, not sorry. Although Fred tried a mad Cruyff thing at the edge of the box and made us concede. But anyway, that's for another day. But Cavani is just going from strength to strength. And like I said, when he kind of came on during the Tottenham game, or started the Tottenham game, whatever, when he played in that game, obviously scored the goal that was given for a foul, which was disallowed, but then obviously got the diving header. I said it then when I changed my opinion and kind of realised how important he is to us. He's going to be massively important for the running. He's going to be massively important in the Europa League, massively important for the Premier League running. And he's proven that. He's scoring goals. He's assisting or being part of the build-up. He's playing good football. And we're managing him well. And you know what, though? We've got so many games coming up in a short space of time. He needs to be managed. So I'm glad we got him off in the end. Probably would have tried to take him off earlier. But the way the game was going was just absolutely nuts. Donny was playing on the left. Did he play really well? I think he did okay. Used the ball well at times. Other times, flat to deceive a bit. But it's always like that with Donny, because the guy doesn't play a lot. Like he doesn't play a lot. So it was a weird one. Bruno, again, nice assist as well for Cavani when we had to settle it down in the second half, even though we went on to lose on the night. So some decent performances, but we did make it difficult for ourselves. And when we took off them fullbacks, Jesus, when we put on Brandon Williams and Tellers, it was almost like we was a whole different team. It just showed you how important Wan-Bissaka and Luke Shaw are for us. But instead of dissecting the game, because look, we lost on the light, so I don't really need to talk about the negatives of the game. It's more about what this means if we can win this Europa League. And I was saying on the fan forum, it's difficult already because, one, we haven't won it yet, so we've got to do it. I'm buzzing to be going over there and go and support the boys for a final, wherever, or just being out there. That's great, but you see City and Chelsea in that final, and you just think, oh man, we should have been there, or we should have been deep in the Champions League. Don't get me wrong, their squads are way more developed than ours. They've had a lot of surgery on their squads. and City already made champions already. They're used to winning big stuff under Pep. But I just think it's something that still, though, we shouldn't take that shouldn't take away. Even though I'm guilty of it, I let it happen, or I'm letting it creep in, even though we haven't won it yet. I keep reminding myself we have to go and win that. That'll be a tough game, and I'll talk about that in a bit. I still think we have to remember that if we do win it, it will be big for Oli. It will be big. It's a stepping stone, isn't it? It's a stepping stone to then say, okay, cool. That weren't our intention to win that this year. We ended up there, but we made it happen and we finished second in the league. You got to take that. It's decent. And I think the players like Bruno, players like Pogba, you know what I mean? The real high standards players will be saying, listen, okay, we got this, but this is not really where we want to be. It's important to win something if you're in it. But, you know, we've just watched Manchester City win the Champions League or Chelsea win the Champions League. It's not good enough for us to be here in the Europa League winning that. So it's something that we probably can't shout about for too long, but you have to respect how big it is for this set of players under this manager. Do you know what I mean? For Oli to get his first major trophy with us, you know, and going quite deep into different types of tournaments. You know, we've had 2 Carabao Cup semi-finals, 1 FA Cup semi-final, 1 FA Cup quarter-final, and 1 final in Europa League and 1 semi-final in Europa League. So it's we've been deep into competitions before. Do you know what I mean? We have, and it's about trying to get over that line now. It's about to try and get over that line because that can massively change the mentality and just breed that winning mentality. Just give them a taste. I think we underestimate what having a taste of a trophy can do. And I don't mean clubs who aren't used to winning stuff. You know, this team crop of players aren't used to winning stuff, but as a club we are. And I think that can kickstart it. And hopefully Solskjaer will get back to in the summer and we go to kick on from there. So we did we make hard work of it? Yes, of course we did. But by the end of it, we still won it by 3 goals. Do you know what I mean? Even though it should have been way more comfortable, especially being 7-2 up at half time on aggregate. You know, that we should have been able to just make wholesale changes and it be seamless. But in true Man United style, that wasn't the case, which kind of would maybe suggest to me why Oli doesn't like to tamper with the starting 11 too much. Interesting points are, though, Pogba played in central midfield alongside Fred. Did it work? You have to argue no. You have to argue that Pogba probably has more impact on the game coming from the left or like an inside 8 as the kind of new positions coming up from. And that's going to be interesting going forward because, yes, Rashford came on. Fair enough. He was right to start him on the bench. He needs to rest and stuff. And he probably brought him on because it was getting a bit techie. Like, we needed to see the game out properly. But Ollie's got some big decisions to make because McFred, no doubt, will come into the midfield for the final. But Pogba has to play on the left. He does, for the balance of the team, for how good he plays in that position, he has to play on the left. Which leaves Marcus Rashford in an awkward position, or Mason Greenwood, one of those two, because Cavani 1,000,000% has to play up front and will play up front, in my opinion. I can't see him not. But if you think about it, Mason Greenwood or Rashford, he's going to have to choose between. And I think he will go over Rashford because Rashford's just a more experienced player. But the way Mason Greenwood's playing at the moment, he's playing really well. I think, you know, I always speak to Ricky about him and you know that, but he gives him a lot of stick in terms of how he looks after the ball and he doesn't make the right decisions. I think game by game, that is getting much better with Mason Greenwood. He's starting to make better decisions on the ball. He's starting to release the ball at the right time. His movement is a lot better. His work rate and positioning when he doesn't have the ball is becoming a lot better as well. And he's improving. It'd be massive for him to play in the final. But something's got to give because to me, McTominay and Fred definitely will play centre mid and Pogba must play on the left. He must play on the left. I don't see him changing it. Be interesting against Villarreal. I did watch I had it on the side and I watched the highlights from the first game against Arsenal and, you know, they look okay, but their right winger, he's one of their best players. He came off injured, so it looked like quite a bad one. I don't think he'll be ready for the final, but we'll see. But, you know, Pau Torres at the back as well. Danny Pereiro, you know, what's he, ex-Valencia? Good player. Good player, man. I like him. But we should have enough in the tank to beat them. But Spanish teams, you know, Unai Emery in this competition as well is massively experienced. So although we got what we wished for, well, some of you were asking for Arsenal. I wasn't. I'd rather see them fail here. And, you know, what they're doing is an absolute joke. What are they, 9th, 10th in the league? Not going to get no. The first time they had European football in 20 years. Shambles. They're all singing "Take Your Time" with it earlier in the week, earlier in the league. Look now. Disgraceful for them. Banter FC. But on a serious note, for us, we have to look at it like, well, now I've got Villarreal. Yes, on paper it looks like we should beat them, but like I said, Unai Emery in this competition has a lot of experience. Has a lot of experience. Yes, he lost in the final with Arsenal, but he also won 3 of them with Sevilla. You know what I'm saying? And he's got to another final now. So he's no mug. And the way they managed the game, to be fair, and I know Arsenal are not us, but they were very savvy, and they could have put Arsenal to bed quite comfortably in the first game. It should have been out of sight from that. So yeah, but then they did ride their luck. Arsenal hit the post twice. The keeper doesn't look very good. You know what I mean? Arsenal could get at them, and we're better than Arsenal. So look, we will be favourites, but how will we play? How will we deal with that pressure of being favourites? Do you know what I mean? We've got to go and win this thing because it will be a catastrophe to get there and lose. You know what I mean? It really will. But for me, David De Gea was man of the match. Like I said, he made killer saves at the killer moments, real squeaky bum time moments of the game. And you have to, I give him respect to Ollie, man, because I badly want us to win this trophy. I do. Not so that you can go shouting to the cows come home, because like I said, I spoke about it already. It isn't really that time, but just for what it means. And it would just kind of put the cherry on top of kind of cementing that Ollie is making progress. For anyone who thinks like, oh, I don't know, there's no fans and stuff like that, it's just a lucky season. Liverpool had loads of injuries. He's lucky to come second, if we even finish second, because we've got a lot of games in a short space of time now. We might even slip to third. Who knows? I don't know. But I think if we avoid defeat in most of them, we should be okay. And Leicester's one of the games too. But City Chelsea next. You know what I'm saying? So someone's dropping points there, and I reckon City will beat them. But you have to kind of say that Ollie is making progress. But I think for people who aren't sure and are like, don't really know, maybe he is, maybe he isn't, this kind of validates to me that he is, especially if he wins this. So yeah, big moment for Ollie. I'm just happy that we done it. I'll be out there in Poland as well. And yeah, roll on the final, guys. Peace.